we were speaking about somebody who came late to synagogue and he is not able to catch up to say all of Psukei Zimra, so we explained what you're supposed to skip. And Chavedat Chelik Hey, Maran also speaks about, Rav Shalom speaks about a person on Shabbat. He came late to shul on Shabbat, and he sees that if he's going to say all the Mizmurim, all the Tehillims before Psukei Zimra and Nishmat, he's not going to be able to catch the Amidah. So the question is, what does he skip in order to be able to pray Amidah with the congregation? Should he skip Nishmat or should he skip parts of Psukei Zimra? So Ravadi writes, the person should skip the extra Tehillims before, and he should skip Nishmat and say the whole Psukei Zimra. Obviously, a person is supposed to come on time and say everything, but if a person happens to be, this one time he came late and he was not able to make everything, he should skip Nishmat, he should skip the Tehillim before, and he should say Psukei Zimra fully. First of all, Tadir Shen Tadir, Tadir Kodem, right? You can say that whatever is more common, you do first, and the Psukei Zimra, they get priority because they're more common, they're said every day. Nishmat, you don't say every day. Furthermore, he also explains Nishmat wasn't part and parcel of Psukei Zimra. Psukei Zimra comes from the Gemara. The Gemara says we're supposed to say Psukei Zimra every single day. Nishmat is a prayer the Geonim added afterwards. It's not as critical as a part of the Sidur that Psukei Zimra is. So therefore, Psukei Zimra is more important. A person should say Psukei Zimra, and he can skip as Yashir. He can skip after that the last Halukas to go and catch up with Nishmat. But Psukei Zimra he must say before the Nishmat. So a person obviously should try not to come late. He should try to come to shul also. Sometimes a person can make a mistake and say, why do I need to go to shul? I'll just pray at home. What's the big deal? I go get out of my bed so early, go all the way there and pray with the Minyan. It's slow, I don't like it. I'll pray at home. The person has to know, the Gemara Masechet Ta'anit Chet Amud Aleph says that a person's prayer with the congregation, even if he didn't have so much concentration, because the Minyan had concentration, his prayer goes up with the whole group. So therefore, a person who prays by himself, he's risking more of a chance that his prayer won't be accepted. First of all, who says you have concentration properly? Who says you have the merit? Also, when a person prays with a congregation, he has more merit. His prayer has more of a chance to pass. It's not judged as an individual, it's judged as a group. Also, the Gemara Masechet Pesachim Daf Mevav says, a traveler who's traveling, he doesn't have a minyan where he is, he has an obligation to travel up to 4 mil, up to almost 2 miles further. He has to continue, in order to be able to find a minyan. And even to go back 1 mil, traveling 18 minutes backwards to go find the minyan. So you see, we have an obligation to go out of our way to go to minyan. Especially, we have minyanim with many times. The person who comes late to the first minyan, if he's able to, he should pray in the next minyan in order not to skip anything. But the point is not to skip. The point is when a person comes and happens to be, he was late, then he skips in these situations the nishmat and he says the Psukei Zimra. Now, the end of the Psukei Zimra, the Barcha Achorna, quote unquote, of Psukei Zimra is Yishtabach. The Shar Kavanot writes, the Rachaim Vital writes that he heard from his Rebbe, the Rav Arizal, that who authored Yishtabach is Avraham Avinu. Avraham Avinu authored Yishtabach, and Shmuel Vital, his son, writes that the beginning part Shlomo HaMelech wrote, and the end Avraham Avinu wrote. So it's a very, very powerful prayer, Yishtabach. The person has to know that during that time there's also a bracha. We say a bracha and Yishtabach as well. It's a bracha to end off Psukei Zimra. But again, this bracha is supposed to be said only if you say it before the Amidah, not if you say it after the Amidah. There's another full story I read recently that there was a woman who was in Eretz Yisrael, a girl from seminary, and she wanted to. She contacted a rabbi in Eretz Yisrael named Rav Zaid. And Rav Zaid is a very, very well-connected rabbi. And she said she wants to donate around over $2,000 to Tzahal to go and give them tzitzit. She wants to buy a lot of tzitzit and give all the soldiers tzitzit. So the rabbi found it for a good price and he helped her. And he said to her, you don't have to spend so much money. He said, no, I want to. So they bought the tzitzit. Then she told the rabbi, you have to come with me and help me to give it out. We have to give it to the soldiers. I want to give it to the soldiers right on the front lines. We have to go as close as we can. He said, what do you mean I'm not going over there? He said, no, you have to. So she convinced the rabbi. He used his connections with the Dabrut and whatnot. Many people he got involved with. He finally was able to go very close to the front lines, to the point where they kept driving with some soldiers and they got stopped. The people who were there, they made a base over there, right where they were fighting. And they said, you cannot go any further. And he tried to convince. He said, I want to give the guys on the front lines, I want them to get the tzitzit. So he convinced. He got a huge commanding officer to escort him with a jeep behind him, a jeep in front of him. They were very, very nervous because in that time they were looking for these 3 terrorists Two of them were caught, but one of them was still missing. So they were very scared that this guy should get hurt, this rabbi should get hurt. So they go and they escorted him. They got to the base where all the soldiers are resting for the time being, but they're on the front lines, and he starts giving out tzitziot to everybody. There's one soldier over there, he said, come, give you tzitzit. He said, no, I don't want. He didn't want the tzitzit. So the rabbi took the tzitzit, put it into a bowl, and he tried to throw it to the guy. The wind came and blew the tzitzit away, and he landed on some bush. It shook the bush, and a terrorist came out of the bush. He popped out, and they neutralized him. They killed him on the spot. But he said, look at this, we were looking for this guy all day. You came with your tzitzit, and you found him. I don't know how Hashem made it that you found him. And now that soldier, he saw this. He said, now I also want tzitzit. Rabotai, now is a very emotional time for everyone in Am Yisrael, and everyone's taking upon themselves a lot of mitzvot. In Eretz Yisrael, a lot of people are being chozer b'tshuva. We also have to take part with them and also accept upon ourselves to do more and be chozer b'tshuva with them. We should hear Shalom al Yisrael. Baruch